Personally, I grew a lot in the virtue of hope. I do remember like the time of the protest, like every day people walking, and like you could hear like the noise of the police at midnight, and people running, and I said, what is going on? And then the elections, and then the fires, like what else could we get, no? But in all those things, like God remains faithful and God remains God, no? So it helped me, recenter my life in Him, no? And realize that He's the only rock that will not change.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
I think it's a message to anyone that is away from the Lord, no? That this is a really beautiful life, and always that the doors are open, and it's never too late, and life with Christ is so much beautiful.
The end goal is total transformation. That's why conversion is an ongoing thing, and it takes time, and it's painful. It's painful. The Lord wants to do something in us that maybe you don't dare to do for yourself.
This was kind of the worst year and the best year.
For our St. Michael's Parish family, that God will help us become missionaries of His love and peace into all the world.
I think everyone became more flexible to change and cancellation, and grateful for whatever we had when we had it.
Well, there's been a lot of great virtual content. So in addition to the masses, there's also theology nights that have been a great way to come together and learn and deepen our faith. The church also went forward with Alpha in a socially distanced, safe way, which has really been amazing to be able to have that program this year. There's also been a number of virtual retreats like over the Christmas holiday and with Lent. So those have been meaningful ways that we've been able to stay connected. They've already put together some programming, outdoors, like ministry work, serving food to the homeless. And I have a hunch that as the pandemic, hopefully lessens, there'll be more ways to kind of come together as a community.
And I think I was very edified, no? Also, like the hunger of the people for the Eucharist and all what they did to persevere in their faith.
My husband and I got married here in 1978. I believe that maybe our parish was one of the first to bring people back in person in a safe way. They were on top of it, and they were right on top of having a streaming mass. They're pretty committed. And we have a lot of people that are involved in helping to make that happen. So I think we were probably one of the best examples. Right now there's a retreat. It's done with pandemic precautions, and everyone is encouraging people to come back as we can. I know people that are really cautious within our parish that have once they get vaccinated, they're going to be here. They'll be back. So they just have a very motivating and charismatic way about them. One of the things we did during the summer and throughout the pandemic were online classes and get-togethers. So we would have meetings where we would have talk. My husband and I gave a talk on the Italian history of the church. My grandparents came here, and so did his. So that was one thing that our parish has done too, is just to keep people, involved, or to have a lot of classes and online connected ways to be together.
The first thing we did is to update the website, and we told people this is going to be the main way of communication. Second, we subscribed quickly to form.org so people could have access to online information. Then third, we started working on the live stream of the Mass, and people were very patient. But first we started with an iPad, then we moved to a camera. I remember the first time we used the camera halfway, it ran out of battery. Later on we moved all the kind of equipment to the choir loft. so you cannot see it when you go downstairs. We had some things in place, but as you say, like, this speed up everything and force us both to increase those things and then to adopt new things. Like, for example, we had the YouTube channel, but like then we really improved it. Like, we started recording all the talks online and uploading them. We started to send, like, at first weekly messages, so we didn't have mass in person, we didn't have bulletin, so we started sending a short video, but it really increased with the pandemic, like a weekly e-letter with all the updates and also resources to grow in your faith. But I think that was also a great blessing to have more things online, not only connecting people to the parish, but also connecting people among themselves. I think after week 2 or 3, we tried to increase the experience of, like, the Sabbath or worshiping God on Sunday by a follow-up meeting to the Mass. So we call it Gathered in His Name. So we asked, like, I don't know, 20-25 leaders in the parish to gather with a group after Mass just to discuss the Sunday message, the homily. That is a group that did not come to Mass, and they stay home and they were more cautious. And I know some of them also grew a lot, and I keep in touch with them and they email me, and I can sense that they kept their faith alive. Like, some people grew stronger, some people maybe grew weaker or even lost their faith. I do see, after we did the Alpha retreat this weekend, and in the testimonies I saw that many shared how tough the first 3 months of the pandemic was for them and how that forced them to seek community. Yeah, I think we need to combine, like, objectivity and subjectivity, no? Like the objectivity of the truth of Christ and the beauty of Christ and the goodness of Christ, but also speak it or transmit it in ways that are relevant to the human heart and to the human person today, and to the human person in Portland or wherever we are. Even before the pandemic, we started dreaming of having a full-time team for the Works of Mercy, and we started planning and drafting a volunteer year for young adults that could work with the homeless. And many of the services inside were closed, so there was a great need, and that kind of forced the parish to go out to the streets. And at first everyone was kind of scared, no, of what could happen, but also a group of volunteers, they started giving lunch 3 times a week. To do even before the pandemic, we had this vision of having what we call lunch in the park, having, like, our community meet the community of homeless, so to know them, connect with them, develop as far as possible friendships, to serve them, to do the works of mercy, the corporal work of mercy of giving to eat or to drink, or connecting them to the services, and then when possible to announce the gospel and to lead them to faith. Last week we did a tent blessing, so instead of home blessings we went to the tent, and I was very impressed how they know the homeless, and even the homeless know them by name, because they go every week to the same route. They reach corners that you cannot believe you are walking, like next to the highways and all this path that you never saw, and people are also amazed that someone is reaching them. This looked like a long Lent, so I'm so ready for Easter. So I think it was personally like a time of purification as well. We had to slow down. We started to value things in a different way, a more monastic life. No, I like to go and visit families and have dinner with them, so I was stripped from that. At the beginning, we played soccer every Sunday, and we also canceled that. I think the first time we celebrated the Mass, that was such a joyful day.